this video, I'll talk about a little photo adventure I had the other day. The goal of that adventure was to take pictures or photos of the Philadelphia skyline from 4 different locations. So I had some basic requirements for this picture. It had to be a picture of the main Philly skyline. It also had to be relatively close to where I am. I'm in West Philly. And it also had to be accessible and free. There are certain spots in the city where you can pay to get a great view of the city. One of them is the City Hall Tower Tour. I highly recommend that one. It doesn't cost that much. And then the other one is to go on top of the Liberty One observation deck. But at that point, you're not exactly taking a picture of the skyline. You're actually in the skyline in that photo. There are certain places that doesn't cost money, but you may not have access to them. For example, there's a great view in some of the Penn high-rise dorms, but you need to know that someone who lives there. And also, if you know someone who lives in one of the apartments that has a view of the skyline in the city, for example, 2400 Chestnut, there's a great view of the city if you're facing north. Here is a picture that I took in 2010. Now, what do I mean by the main skyline? Well, simply put, it has to include all the tallest buildings in Philadelphia. So that includes the Comcast building, the new one and the old one, and even One Liberty Place. Luckily, in Philadelphia, all these buildings are pretty much in the same area. The first place I went to, and a place that I never had gone to before, is Sierra Green. Sierra Green is a rooftop park located on top of a 12-story parking lot. It's actually located between 2 skyscrapers in South Sierra Center. It's just right across the bridge in West Philly from Center City. This park is a little bit over an acre of land, and it has one of the best outdoor views of the entire city. I highly recommend, if you have time, come here and relax, take in the views, watch a little ESPN on the big screen. Here's the photo I took from here. The next location I went to was the South Street Bridge. Now, the South Street Bridge was closed in 2008 because parts of the bridge, like cement, was falling into the river and even on the highway. It was reopened in November of 2010. It goes over the Schuylkill River. It's one of the roads that connects West Philly and Center City. Because it's really such a busy road, there's really no good place to park. On the west side, you have University of Pennsylvania with Franklin Field and all the hospitals there. And on the east side, you have some residential areas, which is not always easy to find parking in Center City. My recommendation is you park near Sierra Green. After you take a look at the views from Sierra Green, walk through the Schuylkill River Trail, and then as you get to the bridge, South Street Bridge, there's a spot there where you can take a picture of the city skyline with the surrounding environments. When you reach the bridge, take the steps up to the street level, and there's going to be 2 lookout points. This is one of the best, if not the best, view of the city skyline. Here's the photo that I took of the city skyline from here. So Drexel Park is a little green space, about 2.5 acres, near the Drexel University campus. Especially during the school year, you'll find students just relaxing, throwing the frisbee, while they take in the views of the city. This park features different walking paths, benches, and just a nice place to relax. Usually you can find parking around the area, around the park. If you do have time, this can be a very quick stop before heading to our last location. Here is the photo that I took from here. The last location I went to was the Philadelphia Museum of Art. The museum is located at the northwest end of the Ben Franklin Parkway. It's home to a vast collection of sculptures, paintings, and even photographs. It's also home to the famous Rocky Steps, made famous by the movie Rocky starring Sylvester Stallone. You'll often find people exercising, running up and down the steps. And this day was no exception. There were individuals training, groups, even I think group classes doing training, mainly for CrossFit training and other things. From the top of the steps, you'll get a great view of not only the skyline, but also of City Hall. If you are driving, I would park somewhere along Ben Franklin Parkway. But if you can't find any parking there, a great place to park is actually behind there in the waterworks. You'll find free parking there with great views of the Fairmont Dam and even Boathouse Row. Once you get there, you'll be behind the museum, and you usually can walk on the side of the building of the museum, but on this day both sides were closed off. So I had to walk all the way around to the street level, and I had to go to the front of the museum and then up the steps. This is a great place to take pictures, but just also relax and just take in the views. It's a great overall view of the whole city. Here's the final photo that I took that day. Thanks for joining me on this little adventure. I know there's a lot of spots to take pictures of the skyline, but I mainly took you from the southwest to the northwest part views of the skyline. Like cheesesteaks in Philadelphia, everyone has their favorite spot to even view the Philadelphia skyline. I hear there's a great view if you're walking on the Benjamin Franklin Bridge. And I also have a great view from afar when I'm going to and from the airport on the George C. Platt Bridge as well. It's a little bit in the distance, but it's a pretty good view. Anyway, thanks again for joining me on this adventure, and until the next one.